Hey everyone, welcome back to Arcade Spirits. I'm Fatal Foxtrot,
Hi, I'm Optimistic Occultist.
and where we last left off, this awesome dude named Hamza was holding an auction today, and everybody got super excited, and we decided to be bold and say, hey, I want to go do the Hamza thing. And Ashley thought it was a great idea, so now we're going to go do that. So we pile into what's basically the mystery machine. Kind of. Gavin, consulting a driving map on his phone, leads us out of the city via a series of weird turns and back roads.
Trust me, this will save time in the long run.
Wait, am I Naomi?
You're Naomi.
Where's Hamza set up this time?
On site is some abandoned estate just outside town. It's about to be torn down, but they'd found a treasure trove of arcade games in the basement.
So exciting! I love arcade raids!
Arcade auctions.
Raids.
Auctions.
You guys got an arcade English dictionary I could borrow? Wait, go back. Yeah, okay. Francine, without looking up from her knitting, answers.
A raid is when a bunch of collectors get together and rescue games before they can be junked by their original owners. An auction is when someone sells their arcade games one at a time to a crowd of active bidders.
So, which is this, a raid or an auction?
It's both, dearie. Hamza, that sweet boy, buys up private collections before they can be thrown away. He rescues them from that terrible fate, and then auctions off his finds, sort of.
Okay, now I'm fuzzy on the sort of part. I'm the newbie here, remember? Well, okay, so Hamza obviously auctions off games for cash money, but he's a very whimsical kind of guy. Yeah, he's Francine's type of guy for sure. Once I saw him trade off a vintage Burger Time in exchange for someone's super secret chili recipe passed down through generations of family.
In other words, he's just on the edge of being a loon. This would be a lot simpler if it was just a raid. We pay up front, we declare what games we want, and cart them away. Instead, he ambushes us with these impromptu auctions and makes us come down there to entertain him on his whims.
I think it's sweet. He wants to make sure the games go to good homes, to people who really want them, even if they can't pay. And really, we should be honored we got an invitation. He's trying to cut out the big franchise arcades like Deco's Palace and help the little guys like us.
He's inefficient and relies entirely on keeping on Hamza's good side.
Huh. So, Gavin's right. It should be a lot simpler.
How did you guys meet this Hamza anyway? I don't want to get in the middle of their, tension.
You don't wanna...
You know.
Yeah. So, he only invites a secret hand-picked group to his auctions. How'd you end up in that select hand-picked group?
That would be my doing, dearie. He likes to visit local arcades whenever he's in town, and I like to get to know everybody who walks in our doors. I approached him. I suppose we achieved a certain rapport, considering we've had 3 invitations so far. Got some rather lovely games too, including Moopy.
We need to temper our expectations a little, I suspect. We don't have room to add many more games, especially relics like Hamza usually deals in.
What about the offstage storage unit? We could just rotate games in and out more often.
Nearly full to bursting, and not cheap for us to rent on a monthly basis. I'm not saying we have to go home empty-handed. Certainly a few holes in our roster we can fill, should we find an excellent deal, and beat the other bidders. But consider this, above anything else, a way to maintain relations with Hamza, even if we don't end up bidding.
Now, Naomi, Gavin knows the numbers. I'm in favor of making our little funplex more and more fun, but floor space is fun. And Gavin, remember, if we find some darling little game Naomi would lavish adoration upon, we can always retire an older game. Like my young friends?
Exactly. If Naomi's gonna take care of it better, that's also a good reason to get it. Well, isn't it better to, not just settle and compromise all the time?
Well, no.
There are trade-offs, and there are trade-offs. It's silly to to say that you should never compromise. As silly as it is to say you should always compromise. It's what you compromise that defines who you are. You're all so young yet. You've time to make mistakes in learning what trade you need to make.
Unless you don't want to make rent on your apartment or your stomach's growling. Iris and Jupiter, Jupiter? Iris and Juniper have pushed me to stop settling for less out of life, to stand up for myself and my happiness. And boy howdy, am I starting to regret that trade-off. I mean, it's been good times at the Funplex, but no, not the time for introspection. Work to do. New default topic diversion. The weather. Well, at least it's a nice day for an outing, right? Oh, come on! Wonderful. Glad I packed plastic bags to wrap cabinets in, just in case.
That's our Gavin, always thinking ahead.
Trying to protect your investments, huh?
From Hamza's invitation, it seems this arcade was largely abandoned and left to rot. I'd rather not add water damage to the ailments the games are already suffering.
It's so sad when we come across a wonderful game that's just ruined beyond repair. Most collectors should show their collections a lot of love, but others just don't care. You find old games in barns, exposed to the elements, and falling apart.
I suppose this is one thing we can easily agree on. It's important to take care of your games.
For the resale value, you mean?
A broken game is no fun to play with, and it's a shame to see a classic in terrible condition. Consider pinball. Pinball games are very prone to breakdowns, particularly older ones. To experience them in their glory, you need to show them care. Even beyond a busted game earning no quarters, it feels like a waste to allow an enjoyable game to lie fallow, a waste of true potential.
Huh. That actually makes sense, yeah. Yeah, she's like, I never would have expected you to say that, but okay. Because she thinks he's just cold and heartless, and that's not true at all.
Yeah.
He's just very Libra. He's trying to make sure you keep your hopes and dreams alive. He just doesn't care about them.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm.
Glad to see these two getting along better, even if Naomi kept preemptively attacking him along the way there. With the rain pounding down on the van roof, conversation gets a bit difficult. Gradually, everybody resumes fiddling about with their phones, knitting and hopefully not Gavin, but leaving me to wonder exactly where is this auction and or raid happening exactly. We've been driving for some time now. The city's really far. What would a massive trove of arcade games be doing this far out in the sticks? Maybe it's some closed down roller rink or an old bowling alley or a creepy old house that's likely been haunted by exactly 87,194 ghosts.
Why that number?
It's a millennial humor thing to make some absurd number that you counted or something. Like, right, sure, you counted that many. The classic cheese luck in play. Oh, that's right, that's her name. The classic cheese luck in play. So majestically awful. Gavin pulls up alongside any number of other vans and trucks. We're here a little late, it seems.
Good grief. Is this really the auction site?
Creepy. Definitely creepy. At least an 8 on the creepometer.
An old home has character, I feel. Let's not judge it by the exterior, shall we?
I think either of us can be Bree, but I'll be the narrator. Do you want to do Bree? Because, I have 3 people. Yeah, I know. But have you ever seen was it Growing Pains?
Or like The Princess Bride. How like the grandpa has his voice, but then... Wait.
No.
Maybe
yeah.
it is Growing Pains.
Growing
It's
Pains.
the same kid.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
it's the kid in the actual show, but then when he's narrating it, it's a grown man.
Okay, so you want me to say the Brie lines?
Yeah, and I'll do the
Okay.
With all speed, the group hurries inside to get away from the weather. A large group is already gathered in the foyer of the crumbling estate, but one rushes forward to greet us with a blur, and the others pay little mind.
Greetings, friends.
Yeah, I love you, Hamza.
Hamza welcomes our friends from the Funplex. Welcome, welcome. Gavin, stalwart as ever. Naomi, love what you've done with your hair. Miss Francine, a beauty surpassed only by your wisdom.
Sorry.
Oh, he's a Scorpio.
Good. It's you. You're Francine.
Oh, fresh.
And a new player, it seems. Who might you be?
Free cheese.
I see. Greetings to you and yours. I am known as Hamza, seeker of antiquity, finder of things lost, player of games. And welcome to, well, not my home, but a place where Hamza shall provide hospitality regardless.
Kind of with that, Bennett. Nah, I don't think he'll be upset about that.
I would say thank you.
Yes, exactly. But at the same time, I don't want to be basic because he is very flamboyant and stuff. So like,
Oh, but they both
But I wanna-
sound rude.
no, because that just means I feel old.
Oh.
Yeah, Seeker of Antiquity, 1980X is antique. Oh, that's you.
I was unaware Reagan-era amusement machines were antiques on par with the Turin Shroud.
The Shroud of Turin. You liked it? Yeah, he loves jokes. You have fire, indeed, but rest assured, many a holy grail may lurk in the arcade below. You may even find your own relic of holy nature by eve's end. Alas, I'm not a moment to enjoy your fine company, Brie Cheese. Perhaps later, but for now, it is time. Clapping twice for attention, Hamza rallies the small crowd into the room to begin the proceedings. Friends, companions, longtime allies of the noble art of the arcade, welcome to Donnerwood. Its story begins nearly 30 years ago when legendary pop musician Donna Michaels, singer of such hits as Thrilling and Mama Don't Mope, did a stately pleasures don't decree. Huh? Okay. Here, the reclusive idol crafted a private amusement park, a petting zoo, and an arcade. Alas, she could only enjoy this paradise for a short 10 years before her tragic death. Needless to say, the estate has fallen on hard times ever since. In this year, it shall be torn down to make way for condominiums. But not before we have our say.
Friends, those games that Donna Michaels cherished still lurk one floor below, ready to be rescued from such a terrible fate. It is our moral imperative to do so. I have paid the estate owners a princely sum for the entire lot. Now, Hamza parcels them out to you. By all means, browse the collection. See which pieces sing out to you. On the far table, you shall find refreshments, grapes, sparkling wine, and delicacies from my travels. Mingle, kavot, and we shall begin the auction in 1 hour's time.
I love him. Indeed, a lavishly arranged table that probably cost more than any single arcade game to put together is descended upon by the invitees soon after. I feel like I'm attending some ancient Roman celebration of debauchery and gluttony, not an arcade raid, or an arcade auction, or whatever. Donna Michaels, I knew it. I should have recognized Donnawood when we pulled in, but it was raining too hard.
Who?
You've never heard of Donna Michaels? She was the hottest musical act of 1980X.
Wait, is this supposed to be like Michael Jackson or something?
Maybe, like Michael Jackson and Dolly Parton. And it's
Yeah.
like a conglomerate of a bunch of
Okay.
those people from the 80s.
Like, the way you described the house, it sounded kind of like the whole Neverland thing, so I was like, wait, what? Naomi, I was born in 1990X.
I'm totally plugging my phone into the van stereo so we can blast Girls Just Want to Play Games all the way home.
Oh my god, it's Cindy
But
Lauper.
first, I'm gonna go check out the cabinets in her. It's supposed to just be everybody from
Yeah.
the 80s.
Now I'm
It's
getting it.
Yeah. But first, I'm gonna go check out the cabinets in her arcade. I'm not really into mingling. Later. She dashes off with all speed, heading for the stairs leading below.
Suppose I should go network a bit. Hamza's events always draw an interesting crowd of rival arcade owners.
Heading for the foodstuffs, Gavin arranges himself a plate so he has an excuse to hang around and eavesdrop on the other collectors. Leaving me to, do stuff? Shit. Now I see why Ashley was bored at these events. Gavin schmoozes, Naomi analyzes finds, and Francine already napping in a chair. I've got nothing to do.
Well, when in doubt, find someone who knows what they're doing and stick to them like glue. You want to go with Navi or Gavin right now? Navi or Gay Omen?
If it got me out of social obligation, I would go with Naomi. Also because of curiosity.
But I want to hang out with Hamza.
But, like, in my opinion, like, if there was nobody around the food, I'd totally go for the food first, because
I wish that was an option, I would have picked it. Like, go for the food first, because then you might meet somebody there that wasn't one of the two options. But I picked, when I played this game the first time, I picked Schmooze with Gavin, so let's go with Naomi. I'm really not interested in the arcade version of Game of Thrones going on up in here, so Gavin can handle these guys. Me, I want to see this legendary arcade Hamza was talking about, so I head downstairs to join Naomi. Whoa. Is this a private collection or a full-fledged arcade? I was expecting a handful of games and a pool table or something, but this is easily 3 times larger than the Funplex itself. Even coated in dust and disrepair, it's awe-inspiring. And it's also hard to find anyone in this maze of tightly packed games. Invitees are browsing the available stock to decide what's worth bidding on, making it crowded as well. But eventually I locate Naomi practically cuddling a narrow-looking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles machine. Holy shit, do you know what this is, dude? Look, it's a 2-player variant of Teenage Mutant... No, sorry. Look, it's a 2-player variant of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These were only released in the Oceania region. This is so rare.
Wait, wasn't that game originally 4-player? Why would anybody want a version with only 2 joysticks?
Well, because I mean, it's rare. It's a find.
And it's less fun.
Not the point. Anyway, it's hard to find one of these. 2-player or 4-player. I'd love to have it for the arcade, and I'd love to have that, and this one, and... Oh, if only I could take all of these home with me. I mean, some have water damage, others likely have busted CRTs and controls. They all need work, but... I recall the game she was working on when I first met her. Extensive repairs were needed just to make it playable.
So, not only would you have to bid to win the game, but you'd have hours of work and plenty of spare parts to purchase ahead of you?
I know, isn't it great?
Oh, okay, sorry, my dyslexia kicked in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a nice way to say this?
I would ask the basic one because
I know,
it would get her to think.
We're so basic.
Oh
lately.
god, am I just a basic person? Like,
No.
oh no.
No, that's not even a bad thing anyway. And it doesn't mean that. It just means you're letting them take over the conversation. Remember Iris told us about it? It's like you're just progressing the conversation without adding input.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing as being like a basic bitch or whatever.
I know, but like, no. I'm
gonna be thinking about Gavin on this one because he's not here right now and she seems to get a little wild on her own without thinking about I think she needs a little bit of Gavin in her right now.
Or maybe just saying, I know you love restoring games, but like, those are the 2 I would pick.
Yeah, I know, but I know what I want to do.
Do it.
Yeah. Naomi, before you get ahead of yourself, oh, that's you.
Naomi, before you get ahead of yourself, stop and think. It's a question of resources above all else. Buying the game, obtaining parts, paying your per hour to repair it. I don't think the Funplex can support many more of these rescue projects.
Ugh, you sound just like Gavin. I'd make the time. I'd work for free. That's illegal, honey. I'd do whatever it takes to get these games the care and love they deserve.
It's admirable that you want to devote so much time of yourself to these games, but the games we do need your love,
Or do have
need your love too. Oops. Even you have your limits. You have to accept that reality.
Naomi sighs, frustration building. It's not fair. Oh.
I know. I mean, I'm not dense. I know there's only so much we can realistically do. So many projects I can actually take on. I wish I could do more. I wish we could do more.
Maybe we can.
Funplex has never really been a success. Even before I came on board, it was always struggling to stay afloat. I joined it because so few arcades still have the games I love. But I can't
turn our situation around, can I? No matter how hard I try. This is my first job. Part of me is hoping it'll be my last job, too. And I
That's
can
no, it's good.
happily spend all my days tinkering with these wonderful games. Every kid says they want to be a fireman or an astronaut or a robot cop or something, but nobody actually ends up doing that, except me. I wanted to fix up arcade games, and that's what I'm doing. It's all I ever wanted to do. So when I see all these old, broken games, I just want to show them the love I can give. I could be happy working on them for the rest of my life.
Wow, that's dedication. And really? You went straight from school to an arcade job? I mean, I meandered from job to job, never really sure what I wanted. Wait, that's normal, right?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I'm the oddball here. It's funny, I followed my heart and found just what I wanted, what I needed, and now, well, now I'm scared that someday it'll all come to an end, that the Funplex will close.
If the Funplex goes under, I really don't know what I'm gonna do. All I ever wanted was to work in an arcade. And I'm literally living my dream.
Okay, now I feel bad for bringing down her day.
Hey, look, you never know, right? Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll find a game down here that brings in thundering herds of players.
Right. It's a slim hope, and we both know it, but Naomi clings to it immediately, eagerly. Honestly, I tossed that hope out there for her, not me. For her, not me. Those doubts about my choices still swirl in my head. Naomi's struggling to realize her dreams, even in her ideal job. Where does that leave me? We just need to find the right game. Something nobody's played in a long time. Something that'll tug at the old nostalgia strings. It's difficult finding the right balance, especially in the year 20XDX. A lot of these games are on life support, borrowed time.
But they can be repaired, right?
Well, yeah, for now. But CRTs, the monitors that power these old games, before LCDs and now 3D flats started replacing them, they're in short supply. Nobody makes them anymore. I mean, who buys a tube-based TV anymore, right? You would think that if arcades were as big as they really are, though, that they would still make them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can't be the exact same world with only that one thing changed. But anyway, nobody. It's all high definition and that weird 3D projection tech, which looks awful. Nobody appreciates a good CRT anymore.
Aren't high-def displays way cheaper, though? I've seen some old games running on their arcades.
They're wrong, is what they are. These games weren't designed for pixel-perfect flat panels. They're designed for fuzzy tubes. The picture looks weird on LCD. Even 2 weeks in, I'm still fuzzy myself on a whole lot of this stuff. But I grew up in the internet age. I'm silicon literate. I've got options. Or opinions. Let's use LCDs and just bash people overhead and make their vision blurry. No. How about we buy some cheap and common games and gut them for spare CRTs? She'll hate that. I think it's still a better option than simulating it. So it's a problem. Oh, let's see.
So it's a problem of having spare parts on hand long term. Short of building our own factory for cranking out TV tubes, there's a temporary fix. Buy some cheap common games and use them as organ donors.
Ugh.
And ruin a classic?
Cheap and common, Naomi. Not some rare find, but one that's still readily available. We can keep the cabinet itself so it can be restored later if need be. Point is, mixing and matching the guts will keep more fragile games afloat.
Makes sense.
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, that does make sense. And I bet I could still sell Gavin on the idea, too. We need more rental storage, but it means less ordering parts and less downtime. Okay, let's see if there's anything down here nobody would want and nobody would need.
Thank you.
You know what? I'm glad you're with us here at the Funplex. Whether you take my side or Gavin's side, it's just nice to have someone who cares about games around. Ashley's fun, but she's way more into cosplay than gaming. Okay, don't start talk shit on Ashley now. I like Ashley. But it's kind of odd, you know?
What?
Feeling like I'm not alone. I know it sounds dramatic, but I'm so used to toiling away in my own little workshop when Ashley and Gavin not really caring about the things I love. They're kind enough to me and friendly. Well, Ashley is. But ever since you showed up, I feel like there's someone with me. It's odd. I'm not complaining, though. I guess it just takes getting used to. After years of feeling perfectly content to be alone. Away from strangers, crowds. I mean, it's not really my thing. I don't like to network like Gavin does, or socialize like Ashley does. And now I'm making things weird, so I'm gonna stop there. Besides, I'm just about done taking inventory down here. How about you and I? Suddenly shouting and stomping of feet from the floor above. What the?
Sounds like there's a fight or something going on up there.
What did he do? I think we better go see what's what. Quickly, we hurry upstairs. What's going on here? I heard shouting.
Hamza has ejected a representative of the dark carnival known as Deco's Palace from our midst.
And soon enough, in Hans's opinion. Sorry, that's right. His voice was a little softer, wasn't it? I forgot. Oh, okay. I guess everything's fine then. Excuse me, I'm gonna go get my work apron on since we'll be moving games soon.
Naomi, if you don't mind, after you change, we should coordinate our wish list. I want to get these settled before the auction begins. No, don't leave me alone with the Bacchanalian Orgy Master. Bacchanalian
The what?
Orgy Master.
That is quite the word.
Excellent. Now, let us resume the social amusements and jocularities. Breeches, we will speak, yes?
Hamza leads me off, away from the chattering crowd, presumably not to eat me, or yell at me, or anything like that.
I make it a point to get to know all who attend my gatherings.
I think I settled on what place I went for him, aside from
As
theirs.
I allowed one who works with the hated Dekonami to enter. Hamza would like to know you better, my friend. Not that Hamza assumes you to be a spy, of course. It is simply a matter of what is proper and right.
I'm just a floor attendant for the Funplex. Not much else to say.
Come now. Surely there's more to you than that. Share with Hamza. Consider me an impartial third party. Surely there are matters that occupy your mind which would be inappropriate to air to your business partners?
Oh, he wants gossip. Okay, I understand. You're right, he is a Scorpio. He's like, you want to talk about anything at all? Alright. Okay, so this guy is clearly on a fishing expedition for dirt. Considering the high court of arcade royalty I'm supping with, maybe it's best not to give him anything. But I also don't want to make relations difficult for the Funplex, so if this guy is really a leading supplier of cheap arcade games, I'm going to tell him the truth, I think.
Yeah. I won't bore you with the whole story, but the TLDR is that my family has had a curse of foul luck for quite a few years. Moving from city to city, job to job. After I left home, I couldn't find stable work, not until the Funplex, I guess. And lately, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if I've made the right choice. I love the arcade, but love doesn't pay the bills.
Hamza agrees.
Ah, yes. I see the dilemma you face. I have seen it many times before. In fact, including firsthand. Yes, I have known hardship. We all have. And in the course of events... we all have. In the course of events. You are not alone in that condition, Breeches.
Hamza began as a mere urban explorer and hunter of rare objects for a wealthy buyer in Dubai. You see, many debts pursued me. And in return for assistance in paying them, I stopped the arcade of his dreams. In time, my patron released me entirely from the woes of debt.
So you were an indentured servant for a while.
That's fucked.
I don't know. I mean, it depends. Did you agree to this ahead of time? If you
Yeah.
agreed to this ahead of time, that you would work for him and for a certain amount of time, if he paid you in a huge lump sum first, that's okay, in my opinion.
Right, but paid is the part that's important.
Well, yeah, that's what makes the difference between an indentured servant and a slave. An indentured servant, the indentured is that you owe that person money. So like it would be like they would pay for you to take the boat from Europe to America. They would pay that and then tell you need to work this many hours to pay it back before you can have your freedom.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not like it's not 100% better than slavery, but
no, it's kind of like being an unpaid intern, and the fact that like.
But you agree to it ahead of time. That's the big. See, my biggest thing is consent.
I mean,
consent is
always.
the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
In like ever.
Yeah, consent first always. However,
so
if there's a way where like you can at least, I don't know.
Keep your freedom, because we don't do it anymore. If that's what you're wondering, we
yeah,
we don't do that anymore.
It's not only that. It's things like they expect you to give up parts of your day to this, and that doesn't pay your other bills, right? And this is the problem historically that I have with indentured servitude, because then they'll do things like, oh, well, you don't have time to go home and make lunch. Here, let's just add this to your tab, and then they feed you. Yeah, but we don't do that anymore. We don't. Like, it's like a trap.
Yeah, it is. But anyway,
unpaid internships are also a trap. Anyway,
they were difficult years, productive years to be certain, and throughout them, Hamza learned how to use the mystique of being Hamza to better achieve his goals. Now I stand before you with
and learned how to speak in the third person.
And respect for that power. I leverage it to ensure that those who respect games as I do can enjoy them, even if they lack going. But yes, I have known it.
So you made all this money and became a socialist.
Yeah, he's a socialist. He was in indentured service, now he's a socialist.
That's condition, my friend.
Okay, so how do I get out of that condition? Do I need to adapt myself to a wealthy prince or something too? It's a little offensive.
Funny you should mention that. like eyes you up and down. I think I can figure something out. Oh no. No. You need the will to dream and the will to work.
The will to make the trade-offs that will bring you closer to your ambitions.
Francine was mentioning something about that earlier.
Wisdom and duty, that is Francine.
I'm trying not to make trade-offs though, not to settle. My parents, they give up so much just to barely scrape by.
That is the puzzle, is it not? What to trade? Allow me to regale you with a story. Hamza makes a sweeping gesture to the beautiful ruin of the Donnerwood mansion and to an oil painting hanging on the wall. At one time, Donna Michaels was a star on the rise. She had all she could ever desire, and indulged in her desires all day long. But so indulgent was she that she failed to maintain the work that brought her here. After her second album didn't meet expectations, she lost interest. For years, she lurked in these walls as a recluse, playing games for hours and hours. Rumor has it that she was found dead within her beloved arcade, hands still wrapped around the glowing joystick. She starved to death, lost in a game. I'd say that's ridiculous, but I've seen Percy play for hours and hours at a time. And now, her lost and nameless spirit haunts this very place. Adrift as a ghost in the machine.
Too spoopy for me, man.
3D5 me. Too spoopy indeed. And obviously, a grim fairy tale, rather than reality. But I feel there is an important truth buried in me. I ask you, was Donna's life spiritually satisfying? She didn't need to make any more albums. She wanted for nothing and had everything. You could say she died doing what she loved, playing games.
Okay, but she's still dead, not getting around that.
Hamza agrees.
Exactly. So many years thrown away, refusing the world around her in favor of a dream. A dream is a lovely thing, Breeches, but you must balance a dream in one hand and the world in the other, at all times. Naomi, she clings to her dream. Gavin, he clings to the world. Neither of them are truly happy as a result. And what of you, Breeches? Do you seek to be truly happy? Well, duh. What else am I gonna answer except yes? But Hamza pressed a finger to my lips to silence me. Hold that thought. The auction is about to begin. Hamza claps twice, calling the room to attention.
Greetings, friends.
Friends, let us proceed to the arcade below. We have many games to bet on, all of which must be out the door by morning. As always, I will accept alternate bids, but test not the patience of Hamza. If your bid is not a serious offer, the hours grow short. Any titles which find no takers will go to my own collection, but my hope is to find a happy home for every machine, one which will love and respect these games. He motions for me to follow as the group files downstairs, and we will follow him downstairs and do the auction in the next episode. So I fucking love Hamza. I love his whole deal where, like, if you can, he'll trade you with other things other than money, and they don't even have to be a physical thing either.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell him just a fucking kick-ass story, and he'll be like, "That's the coolest story I've ever heard. You can have whatever you want." Like,
Yeah,
like whatever.
I love
Like, yeah,
characters like that.
exactly. Because he already has all the money. He doesn't need any more money. He has plenty of money.
He's just
So he
like,
wants other shit now. He wants other stuff out of the world besides money, and that's why I like him. So, yeah, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say he values things other than monetary gain.
Right, exactly.
Because everything has value.
Right, and he's already done with the rat race, you know? He's like a billionaire or something. He's like very wealthy.
He's very cool.
Yeah.
I like him.
So, yeah. Anyway, see you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks, bye.
Bye.